What's up, Street Thugs? My name is Brigg, and this is my Super Strength Dark Armor Brute.
Oh no, he's right there! Oh god!
So I got a request from the Heifer, love the name, for a Super Strength Dark Armor Brute, and I realized I think I have one of those already built. So I dug this up. Granted, this is my build, so I usually focus on tanking. So if this is not what you're looking for, I can probably rework something for you. Let me know in the comments, but this is what I came up with. And remember, if you liked the video, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. But let's go ahead and jump right into this. So we'll kind of go over the stats first like usual. We have my defense setup. I focus on melee on this one. I do have 40% for smashing and lethal, which is good, but that's just a byproduct. Mainly I focused on my melee. I do have 25%-ish in ranged and AoEs. But like I said, melee was my focus. And then for my resistance, as you can see, I've got 90% almost across the board. I've got smashing and lethal. I've got fire and cold. I don't have energy all the way up, but I do have negative energy, which is odd. It's just the way that it worked out with the dark armor sets. So you are going to be a little low on regular energy, but you are going to be capped on negative energy. And then I have toxic at about 39% and at psionic at almost 80%. So that's awesome. That's a nice thing with this dark armor set. Now let's come over here to the powers over here. As you can see, for super strength, I have punch, haymaker, knockout blow, taunt, and foot stomp. I did not take rage. I did not take hand clap. Rage is, like I said, this is a build that focuses primarily on tanking. Granted, it's going to do a lot of AoE damage as well, but it's going to be doing mostly tanking. If you wanted to switch some things out for rage, you can, or you can take hand clap. I didn't take hand clap because I'm not a big fan of powers that send everything flying away. We'll kind of go over that here in a little bit. Dark armor, we have Dark Embrace, Death Shroud, Murky Cloud, Obsidian Shield, Dark Regeneration, Cloak of Darkness, Cloak of Fear, and Soul Transfer. I did not take Oppressive Gloom. It is a toggle that you can take, but I didn't take it because I'm not a big fan of Disorient, because Disorient will make them all wander away. I want them staying on me. You can do that if you wanted to. Before we go into the pull powers, let me just kind of say this. There are certain things you can change across the different servers. I can't hear myself. For those of you playing on Homecoming, they have merged a lot of the power pulls. So there are going to be things different here. For this build, I had originally taken Flight, so I did have Afterburner in there. You will no longer have Afterburner available. You should be able to take evasive maneuvers in its place for the defense mule, is what I use for, because now Afterburner and Flight have been merged. If you're playing on another server where travel powers are now inherent and you don't have to select them, you can switch those out as well. For that case, you can probably take hand clap if you wanted to. You could take Oppressive Gloom, you could take Rage, or you could take Tactics if you wanted to. That would give everybody in your team accuracy boosts, as well as if you wanted to take Assault, that would give everybody a damage boost. Your call if you wanted to make those changes. But like I said, there are a lot of differences between each server. You can play with them as you will. As always, this is simply just a guide to get you going, just a foot in the door so you guys kind of get an idea of what you're looking for, what you're going for, maybe even what you don't want to go for. You do not have to do the build like I have it here. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into the power pulls. In this case, I took Leaping for combat jumping. I have Flight for fly, hover, and Afterburner. Like I said, you can change that Afterburner to evasive maneuvers. Leadership, I have maneuvers. And then fighting, I have boxing, tough, and weave. And then for the Moo Mastery, just to buff up your AoE damage, just to help the group, is Moo Lightning, electrical fences, and ball lightning. I'm a big fan of the Moo Mastery simply for the fact that it does do a lot of damage. And also, let me add this little tidbit. I've never mentioned this before. I probably should have. But if you do not know how to get Moo Mastery as a hero, you need to go do the patron powers, which means you're going to have to switch to a villain and go over to Granville. You have to talk to Black Scorpion. There is an arbiter you have to speak to outside of the Granville Citadel before you go in to talk to Black Scorpion. Talk to him first. You will do that story arc, knock that out real fast, and you'll be able to do all of the epic power pulls for both sides. Granted, on some servers it's a little easier than others. Some servers you can just click a button and you're automatically there. Some you have to do a little bit more. And then there's some that are still set up before sunset where you actually had to earn tips to unlock it. You might have more work than others in some servers, but that is how you do that. So let's go ahead and look at our Incarnates. For Alpha, I took Cardiac, Radial Paragon. Main reason I took that for the damage resistance, as well as Fear. This is Dark Armor. You are going to be playing with some fear, and fear is a great way to lock characters down. For Destiny, I took Aegis Core Epiphany. That's usually for the endurance recharge rate. This is when you're going to want to get up to tier 4 as fast as possible to combat any endurance issues, so you don't have to manage your endurance that much. Over here to interface, I took Diamagnetic Radial Falls Interface. Mainly just as a tank, I'm trying to help out the group. And in this case, I'm not only giving a chance for a -2 hit buff, but I'm also putting a minus regeneration on things. In this case, I'm thinking of AVs. You're trying to kill that regeneration so they can't heal up faster than you can do damage. And then over here to Hybrid, I took Control Core Embodiment, extra +1 mag. I'm trying to build that fear up, well, without sacrificing too many things, but so they can get just a little bit better, just to lock down your characters in fear. Fear is a great one. So then let's go ahead and look at our powers. For Punch, we're just gonna kind of skip over. I didn't throw anything in there. You're not going to really be using it. If you do for some reason, you can throw something in there, or you can do like a proc, whatever. I doubt that it's going to really be in your rotation, but your call, of course. Then next we have Dark Embrace. I have all 6 of the Unbreakable guards. So that's going to increase your HP as well as your resistances for energy and negativity, and your defense for melee, which is the big reason I took it. And I took all 6 because it gives you 5.25% in fire and cold. If I could have stacked that max HP, I probably would have did this in several more powers, but unfortunately I could not. Come down here to Death Shroud. We have Superior Unrelenting Fury. And this one, again, I took all 6. And primarily you get 5% for melee defense. And you get 6% resistances to most of your resistances. And of course, you get a 4% damage boost as well as a 4% for recovery. So that's great as well. Come down here to Murky Cloud. We have Unbreakable Guard. This case, I only took 4. And that's mainly I was trying to get to that 3.13 defense for melee. And then I took Steadfast Protection. I took the defense one as well as the knockback protection one on this case. And then combat jumping, I have Luck of the Gambler for the global recharge. And then I have 4 of the shield wall defenses. And in this case, I'm going for that 4.5% for energy and negative energy resistance. I do not have the shield wall resist teleportation plus 5% resist all in this power. If I was going to stick it somewhere, this is where it's going to be. I did flip some things around. If you want to stick it in here, it's probably not a bad idea. I was moving things all around and I ended up putting it somewhere else. But it is in the build still. And then, of course, for the last one is reactive defenses. I have the scaling resist damage just for that extra resist bonus whenever you have a group around you. And then for flight, I do have the Blessing of the Zephyr for the knockback protection. And then I had 2 of the Winter's Gifts. And primarily, this is for that 3.75% resistance to fire. Fire resistance became an issue on this build, so I was trying to squeeze it out wherever you could. And 3.75% was a big deal. Come down here, Obsidian Shield. I took 4 of the titanium coatings, and this is primarily for that 3% smashing and lethal. And then, of course, I have Gladiator's Armor, which is the TP protection plus the 3% defense all. That's a biggie. Taunt, you can put it in a range. That would be my choice. Recharge if you feel like you need to. Adjusted based on your gameplay. Up here for hover, we have Luck of the Gambler, Global Recharge. Some servers may not have hover anymore. You might have to switch that out, but primarily this is being used as a mule power. You can switch it out with something else if you need to. And then Dark Regeneration. This one I went back and forth, but I ended up just sticking this in here for that 2.25 resistance. I do have Preventative Medicine, which is heal and heal recharge. Come down here to Afterburner. Again, this one might be different in some servers. This is the Luck of the Gambler, Global Recharge. Cloak of Darkness, again, Global Recharge. And then I have the 4 of the shield walls. In this case, you can see here, I do have the resist and 5% resistance for teleportation and resistance to all. Again, that resistance to energy and negative. Come down here to Haymaker. I have 5 of the Mako's Bites. I do have the proc for chance for lethal damage in there. This one you're getting 3.75% for resistance damage, and that's primarily why I took it right there. You do get some extra stuff. You get some toxic resistance. You do get an extra little damage boost, but primarily I took it for that resistance and for smashing and lethal. For Knockout Blow, I took 3 of the Hecatombs. And primarily that was for that 6% resistance for fire and cold. A lot of your big powers, you're not going to be maxed out on enhancements simply because there wasn't enough to give around to really focus on resistances, which is what I made this build to be, a tank. So a lot of your big powers are not going to be stacked with a whole bunch of enhancements, unfortunately. Come down here to maneuvers. This is the Luck of the Gambler plus the 4 of the shield walls. Usually the same ones. I'm usually focusing on defense. In this case, you're getting that 4.5 resistance to energy and negative again. And then we'll come Come down here to Cloak of Fear. Now this one I went a couple different ways. You could do this. There's a lot of different options you can do. If you're going to put a set bonus in here, I went with Glimpse of the Abyss. In this case, I have chance of psionic damage, and then I have a Fear in range, and this gives you a 2.75% for Terrorize enhancement. Your choice. You could also just throw some regular IOs in there, just the standard invention IOs in there for maybe fear. That'd be fine too. That would give you a bonus. That would increase your fear length is what it would do. Increase the duration of your fear so you can keep stacking them. In this case though, I just threw this in here because not only is it got a good chance for fearing because you got the enhancement, you also have a chance to do psionic damage, so why not? Come up here to boxing. I didn't put anything there. You can do what you want. Foot Stomp, I have all 6 of the Superior Brute's Fury. And again, this one is for that 6% smashing and lethal. And of course, you got 4% damage, 10% recharge, and the 5% defense for smashing and lethal, 2.5% for melee. So, but primarily this was for that smashing and lethal resistance. And then I come over here to Tough. I have 4 of the Unbreakable Guards just to get me to that 3.13 melee defense. Weave, I have 4 of the shield walls, again, to get to that 4.5% energy, negative energy resistance. And then Moon Lightning, I have 2 of the Superior Winter's Bites. That is for that 6% fire and cold resistance. Ball Lightning, I have Ragnaroks, just 3 of them. Again, fire resistance I'm trying to get to because this one was really lacking. At one point, I only had like 40%, so I had to really work things around to kind of get it up there. Like I said, sacrificing some damage, some DPS. Come down here to Soul Transfer, just 5 of the Superior Avalanches, and in this case, 5% melee defense, which is huge. Come down here to Electrifying Fences. I just have the Frozen Blast, not the Superior, just the regular ones, because at this point you are capped at 6% fire and cold bonuses. So this one I went with the normal unattuned Frozen Blast, just so you can get the 3% resistance rather than 6, because if it was that Superior, you would get 0. Come over here to Health. I have 1 Miracle Recovery for the recovery, obviously. I have 4 of the Preventative Medicines, and this one I also have the chance of Absorb, and then I have mainly anything that focuses on healing. And in this case, I'm trying to get that 3% resistance to fire and cold and 2.25 resistance to smashing and lethal. These were a nice little combination. Come over here to the final one over here. It's Numinous Convalescence plus regeneration and plus recovery. So that is my Super Strength Dark Armor Brute designed for tanking. If you were looking for something a little more damage heavy, let me know in the comments. I can see if I can rework that. You are going to lose some resistances. So if you do want something a little more DPS, let me know what you're looking for. Let me know what travel power you're looking for. Let me know what type of defense or resistance you're kind of looking for. And I can kind of rework that for you. But thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please remember to hit that like button. If you are not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button as well. If you can, share the video with other City Heroes friends, groups, whatever, if you think they might enjoy it. But thank you guys. I will see you again soon. Stay golden and take care. Bye-bye.